Hi everyone, this is Damien Foley and this is my MBA journey at the Melbourne Business School, and you can follow this on YouTube at Damien Foley, Damien Foley, and on my website blog, damienfoley.com. So this video is about my actual application for getting into the MBA. So I'll just go through a couple of things that I had to fill out as part of that. Now, these are the things that I had to do. I know that they've recently just done a change around the login details. This is all online, that you actually submit all your records. So I know that they've recently just done an update to that. So obviously any of these things can change around what you need or require to put in. So obviously the main details they'll need first of all is obviously your name, your age, your date of birth, your address, contact details, and all that. I suppose the main things that stuck out that when I was doing the application form that they required was they also needed my academic transcripts from where I did university for my Bachelor of Commerce out at University of Newcastle. So I was actually able to get go through the online application with University of Newcastle to get those academic transcripts sent to me as a digital copy. So academic transcripts was one. I had to provide my resume as part of that. I also had to provide my previous work history, so complete some details on what my previous work history was, in addition to the resume itself. Also had to do some short answer questions. So some of the questions were around why I wanted to do the MBA, what I wanted to do with it, and what my expectations of it, and what I wanted to do with it to use it for, and my experience was also of managing people was another question that was actually asked. So I think there was about 4 or 5 different short answer questions that were asked in the application form. So I also had to provide 2 referees who could provide a reference for me. Now they can also be any referee that I would think speaks on your behalf. I was able to fortunately get some referees that's from an academic background who were able to be my referees for the application process, and a former employer, a very well regarded person who I formerly worked under, also as a backup. So my suggestion is, even though you've got 2 referees, have about 3, because you need that backup just in case one of your referees isn't able to get around to doing doing the reference for you. So what you do is you complete the details, including address, contact details, their title, and their email. So what will happen is with the referees is when you complete their details and submit them as referees, they'll actually receive an email asking them with a link to then complete in the Melbourne Business School's portal, their reference for you. So it's all kept digitally online that way. So yes, yes, you'll need 2 referees for that. I also had to provide proof of my identity and citizenship as well, obviously, as to prove that I was an Australian citizen. So fortunately, I had a passport, so that had those details. I think it also, another one was a birth certificate as an Australian resident. So don't ask me about overseas students. I know there was also a section in there for English literacy and language as part of the application as well. So anyone from overseas with English as a second language, there is a English other than English as a second language part to be completed as part of that application form. So They were a couple of the main key areas that I remember completing for the application process. I think there was about 8 in all that was required to do, 8 different sections. And it probably took me a couple of hours to complete. Probably put some thought into the short answers and make sure your resume is nice and presentable that you do submit. I think I also submitted. I've got a public profile for myself, where I work in my business, so Foley Business Management. So I had that, and I think I'm fairly certain I also sent that in as an additional document, just to support the things that were outside of my resume that weren't covered, because I've delivered workshops, I've done presentations, and done public presentations for different organisations, and completed different projects, which were possibly things that I didn't include and not part of my resume. They're things I've done externally. So yes, so just to go, so yeah, they're the things that I recall from doing the application process: academic transcript, my resume, my previous work history, proof of my identity and citizenship, and some short answer questions. And most importantly, the 2 referees. So yes, and I had 3 just as make sure I had a third person as a backup should somebody who I wanted to have as a referee couldn't do it. Also, please make sure you notify the people that you're asking to be a referee, because if they get the email and got no idea what it's about, they'll probably dismiss it, or let them know, because they might, just in case it goes into their junk mail, because it is an automated email that's sent out, so it might go into their junk mail. So yeah, just let the referees know in advance that they might be receiving that email when you do complete it, and submit complete their details in the application. I didn't actually complete the application before the emails were sent to the referees, which is something I didn't realise. It was only until I was contacted by one of my referees to say that they'd received the email that I realised that once I'd entered in their details, including the email, especially the email, they were actually sent the link for them to provide a reference. So that's also something pretty important to remember. So yes, that's my journey so far, just in regards to the application that I had to complete, and yeah, I received it. The outcome of that was I did have to follow them up just to make sure where it was up to. I know that I did submit mine because I had some delays around my referees completing their references. I did need to follow up and make sure that I did get my letter of offer, which I received. So I received that here. It's a printout. It actually came as a part of an email. So, and I'll talk about that in the next section, because that's another part that needs to be completed as far as your enrolment into the MBA, is the letter of offer, which then has you go through another process. So yeah, that's my journey with my MBA journey at Melbourne Business School, with the application for getting into it. So again, guys, I'll be putting this on YouTube so look for Damien Foley, DAMIEN FOLEY, and I'll also be putting this up into a blog, or putting it onto my website, www.damienfoley.com. So look forward to doing some more of these videos of my progress through the MBA over the next 2 years. Thanks. Bye.